Hey guys, welcome back to Fire Creek Forge. Today is going to be about solving a problem with natural handle material. Let me show you what we have going on here. So we've got a nice little Puko Scandinavian-ish style knife, 52-100 steel, but that's not important today. What we're talking about is the problem here. Nice sturdy construction, but there's a problem with this handle, and let me see if I can show you. See that? We have some serious gappage there. I'm a big fan of natural handle materials. Wood, antler, bone, horn, all of these things, you really cannot duplicate the feel and the luster of a natural handle material. The thing you have to be aware of with natural handle materials is that they're not stable. Depending on what it is, there's a range, obviously. You get something like a desert ironwood, that's a very stable wood overall, but it's still not going to be as stable as, a piece of plastic or something like that. These types of materials can warp, bend, twist, shrink, swell. That's just what happens with them. There's ways to mitigate that as much as possible, but it's not always going to be avoidable. The reason this has shrunk is even because it was cured or seasoned, which I don't know if that's exactly the same thing, but dried out sufficiently over a sufficient period of time. Something I run into in my particular climate, and this is what you have to be aware of, is that even when I have a seasoned piece of wood, I get it here and it sits around here for 6 months, it shrinks. I mean, I've literally had desert ironwood shrink a little bit. I mean, very little bit, but it's just so dry here, which I like, but it's just so dry here that it just shrinks. So, depending on where you're at, you may not experience that whatsoever. You might experience the opposite. So today, instead of completely destroying a mostly good handle, I'm gonna use a technique that I've seen before, and hopefully we can make a nice handle. All right, so next we need to mix up some resin. I'm going to mix in the activator here, and you have I don't know, like 30 minutes before it starts to gel up. So it takes a while to set, but it gives you plenty of work time. Mix this up real good. So for ease of doing this, I'm going to go ahead and start by tying this around the tang here so we can actually put some pressure on it. So this is basically like building micarta or phenolic laminate. Now I could be dragging this string and soaking it through the resin, but I'm just going to try to apply this generously because it's so much messier when you try to do it that way. So if I just soak this down real good as I go, I think that'll be more than adequate. Okay, so we've got our material on there. Now we just have to wait for our resin to cure, and that's going to take all day. But you want to make sure that you have enough material that you can sand back to a nice clean surface. And all right, so this is what it's looking like with 220 grit finish on it so far. It looks really cool. So you have a really good good matchup here. Very, very clean, no gaps. Not so much right here. And here, which is a problem because that's kind of what we needed to avoid in the first place, or fix in the first place. So what I could have done to avoid that a little better is to make sure that on my last pass, on my last wrap, that everything was really, really tight, you know, this way, and I could fit a couple more, you know, wraps in this instead of the number that's in here right now. I think there's a way that we can fix this though. So this is a technique you can use to fill voids in other types of handle material. And simply applying some liquid super glue to the area here and allowing it to move into that crack. But you can already see how it's sealing up those cracks. I wasn't going to worry about these guys right here because I know it's solid underneath that. But since we're here, we'll do that and kind of show you what it looks like after it's finished. All right guys, I have this all polished up and ready to go, and I'm going to show you some pictures in just a second here. But before I do that, if you've enjoyed this video and you like what you see on the rest of the channel here, consider supporting the channel. It doesn't cost you anything to hit like, hit subscribe, all that groovy stuff. And of course, you can go to Patreon. There's a link in the description below, as well as my store, my online store, firecreekforge.com, where I sell cool knives like these and hatchets and other great stuff. So check those out. I appreciate the support. As always, thanks for watching the video. We'll see you on the next one.